Hello Seekers, welcome to Puneet's Astrology, your one-stop astro channel. This is a 3-video series in which I am going to discuss on the Trik Bhav, that means the 6th house, 8th house and the 12th house. These 3 houses are mostly said to be the infamous houses that produces a lot of trouble. 6th house, 8th house and 12th house are the most feared houses from which you always hear that a lot of problems are coming because of the planetary rulers of these houses. You will hear that the 6th lord is placed in this house, 8th lord is placed in this house, so because of this and this placement, the problems are coming in life. In one way that is true, but there are deeper factors involved in the role of these 3 houses, and these are what you can say the most essential houses without which you will not be able to survive, move or do anything in this life, not even come to existence in this planet, even in this realm. So we will go deeper in 3 videos, each explaining on the 3 houses, 6th, 8th and 12th, and here I am going to present you in a very brief way a deeper insight on these houses, and you need not be scared of these houses, because what I am going to tell you is what lies beneath the fear and the scary nature of these houses. The truth of these houses and how you can make the best of it, and how you can be optimistic about the placement of the planets in this house, or how you can be optimistic about the situation that comes in your life if these houses are responsible for it. Stay tuned till the end and watch the 3 video, and you will get to know much knowledge about these 3 houses. But before that, do not forget to hit like, subscribe and share, and do not forget to hit the bell icon, because that's what keeps you and me stay connected. So guys, subscribe, stay connected, and if you have any suggestions, do give me your suggestions in the comment section below. In this video, we are going to discuss about the nature of 6th house. 6th house is said to be the house of disputes, the house of disease, the house of court cases, litigations, defamation. It is also the house of recurring things, repeated circumstance, some sort of pattern or a time loop in which you get stuck. So 6th house, you can say, is the first of the 3 Trik Bhava. So we need to go deeper into this particular infamous house to understand the architecture of this particular house and how you can judge the potential of the house and make the best of it. The first thing that is defined in astrology is that 6th house is the house of debts and enemies. Understand the rule of karma. Who is your enemy? So in the Kriyaman karma, if you choose, that means use your free will to cause harm to somebody, then it is registered as a bad karma and you have to repay. Now you are causing harm to a certain individual. Birth over birth, these karma gets collected, because you just can't repay everything in one single lifetime. So you keep on changing shape, changing gender and whatnot. Nobody knows exactly how it goes, but you keep on taking birth after birth and you get into this loop of karmic cycle. Point number 1, the life and birth cycle is recurring. It follows a fixed pattern. You take birth, you live a certain lifespan as decided by your planets, then you die, then you go back to the original God, you come back, and this keeps on happening. So it's a repeated cycle, it's a repetition which is controlled by 6th house. So the very cycle of life and birth can be observed from this house. So see how important sixth house is. It's not an infamous house. It is what controls the very fabric of karma. It is what controls the very fabric of life and birth cycle. Then sixth house defines loan. You have done something to somebody, you did not got it back, maybe it was not enough, one lifetime was not enough to repay the debt. You take birth again, you face a certain kind of person, and that person tries to take back a certain chunk of the karma. Now it may be very difficult to digest. I'm not saying that having an enemy or doing wrong or suffering is justified. I'm just giving a perspective here. So don't take it otherwise, just take it as a perspective here, a mathematical perspective. That means every karma creates a loan, either good or bad. Loan is a loan. If you give somebody more than what is needed, that person has to repay you someday through karmic means. And if you take more than what is needed, you have to give. That's the rule of karma. And to give and take is why you come on this planet, learn, go back, repay some, take some, go back. And that is why Kriyaman Karma is very much important. And can you tell me one thing? What is the loan that a newborn baby will have on his head? It can only be the loan of Prarabdha Karma. That means there is a certain amount of karmic repayment that you have to do in this life. No matter what, you can't escape from that karmic repayment, and that karmic repayment must be done. That karmic repayment will be taken even if you like or you don't like, and that is why sixth house is considered to be as a bad house, because you don't like loans. You will say, I have not done bad to anyone in this life, still I am suffering so much. Then you must see your sixth house. And that is the very essence and power of this house, because this house also, in a way, controls time. So if you are not on time, if things are getting delayed, you can blame sixth house. You have to observe which Rashi is placed in this house. And accordingly, you have to define whether you have some huge karmic burden or you are just relieved from that. What is the sixth house lord? Is it Sun? Is it Mercury? Is it Jupiter? Who is placed in sixth house? Where is sixth lord placed? Which nakshatra is sixth lord in? Will define the karmic fabric of your life and will define from where you are coming and why are you facing the problem. So if you are facing the problems in your life, lot of problems, you don't have an answer to, you need to see sixth house. What is the role of that house? Yes, astrology is not about one house, astrology is not about one planet, but there has to be a trigger, there has to be one purpose. And the first purpose of your horoscope is to clear the loan that you bring in the birth. And that is why it is seen that there are so many cases which you keep on doing but you don't actually get anything because you are repaying the loan. So you need to address that fabric of the horoscope, address that attribute, and maybe repay the loan in some other way. And that is why in ancient times they used to chant mantra millions and millions of time and burn this karma. And through the process of burning the karma, cutting iron through iron, chanting repeatedly a mantra, it activates your sixth house because you are doing a repeated activity. So when you are doing a repeated activity, sixth house automatically comes into picture, and when you use sixth house to a certain extent, the capacity will go, the energy capacity depletes, it finishes. The energy, whatever energy is stored with the sixth house finishes. That is why it is said that do this much amount of puja and your problems will go away. How does it goes away? This is how it goes away, mathematically. And that's how God helps us. Now see the placement of 6th house, very beautiful. Now why we call this a 6th house? Because it is 6th from ascendant, that means it is 6th from you. But what about other houses? So let us take few benefic houses and see how 6th house is placed according to them. Because if it is a bad house, then it should be against the benefic houses, correct? So let us take the first benefic house, second house, house of bank balance, house of wealth. 6th house is 5th from that house. So your productivity of your bank balance is actually seen from 6th house. That's a true thing, right? If you have a high loan and high EMI, your bank balance will not have enough savings. So your bank savings account will not be productive enough. Your life will not be productive enough because you are just pushing your 6th house to a certain extent in a negative way. Third house is said to be house of courage. 6th house is 4th from 3rd house. That means the comfort of your courage is seen from the 6th house, not so bad. Then from 5th house, which is called as one of the Mool Trikona Bhava, 6th house is 2nd. So that means if 5th house is children, 6th house is gain of children. Again, it is very positive. So it is controlling, see, so many things in your life. Now comes to 9th house, the Bhagya Bhava, the Bhava of the Dharma, and the 6th house is 10th from 9th house, the karma of your Bhagya. Very important. Now you come to 10th house, the karmic house, the career and fame, designation, and 6th house is the Bhagya of 10th house. 6th house is 9th from 10th house. And surprisingly, what is 6th from 6th? Bhavat Bhavam principle. 11th house, the house of gains. So this simply means the more loan that you have in life, that means the karmic loan, or the more loan that you collect in life, without repaying, you are not going to activate the positive houses. And why chanting mantra, doing puja, doing good deeds burns out the karma and makes you successful and move into the positive path? Because it is 10th from 9th. It is the karma of the dharma. That means 6th house is like a person who has taken all the beating, who is working in the background and has become a necessary evil. Without the 6th house, all the positive houses will collapse because it is holding the fabric of all the, it is a knot. That is why it is the karmic powerhouse. If you see the 6th house placement from all other Trik Bhava, it has a very weird connection. 6th house is 11th from 8th house. And 8th house we know is your age, longevity. So if 8th house has to be positive, 8th house will gain its positivity from 6th house. Seventh house, if you want to reach to 6th house, you have to go 12 places. What is 12th house? House of donation. So 6th house also means what you're going to get from the public. Every time 12th house does not mean loss. Sometimes 12th house also means selfless sacrifice. So will people around you do a selfless sacrifice? You have to see 6th house. You get 6th house is so important. It's way more important than any other house. And we usually get scared. We try to do remedies of the 6th house. Yes, we should not directly wear a gemstone or directly jump into the remedy of the 6th house, but we have to carefully analyze what are we trying to do with this house. So now 6th house being the enemy house will also generate enemies, because if you have done bad to people in your past lives, those people will come after you. Again, I am not justifying anything. I am giving a mathematical perspective. LHS has to be equal to RHS. A mathematical harmony has to be maintained. The point is, that it keeps on rotating. It's like a rolling ball of ice, snow, that keeps on accumulating the karma as it processes and progresses in the life and birth cycle from Satyug to Kalyug. And unless you give up and choose to follow a particular path, 10th from the 9th, choose to follow the path of the dharma, no matter what happens with you, then only you can stop collecting the negative karma, and whatever negativity you have, you will burn that out. And once you give up the 6th house things, where do you end? See, 12th from 6th is 5th house. So you end up in 5th house, and 5th house is one of the Mool Trikona. It is the house of sun, ruled by Leo in the Kalpurush. It is the house of the king. It has light. Well, if 6th house was so bad, why is Virgo placed there, which is the house of calculation? Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Now, Mercury is not a malefic planet. Mercury defines communication, calculation, methods, structure, definition, going by the book, following science, not following emotions, and that is where we humans fail to understand the role of the 6th house. And if you can just observe the 6th house lord and observe this house carefully, and in fact observe 6th house role in every divisional chart, you will understand why you are born on this planet, to whom and to how much quantity you have to repay as a karma, and this will tell you what you call as suffering. Because every suffering on the, what you can say, celestial scale is a karmic debt, one way or the other. Again, not justified. Nobody should be suffering, and nobody should give suffering in the name of karma, because then if they do, they are going to get it back. That's the rule of karma, free will. Layout is given to you, a structure is given to you, then they ask what are you going to choose, and depending upon the path that you choose, you create your own life and birth cycle. So for example, if you are supposed to take birth for another 10 cycles, and you choose something wrong in this life out of free will, that 10 can become 10,000. You will never know. There is no way to identify, at least not with the current architecture of astrology. So there is no need to get panicked about the 6th house. 6th house needs understanding. 6th house needs focus. 6th house needs analysis. You have to use the house, the property which it holds. And after using the 6th house, if you can understand this particular house in your horoscope, you will be able to achieve and unlock the secrets of your life. And the first rule of 6th house is that you have to accept. Without acceptance, you can't start working on it. First of all, you have to accept that this is something wrong with you, or this is something wrong that is happening to you, and you need to work on that. And maybe your path is wrong, maybe the dimension that you want to move into is misfit, is wrong dimension. Maybe you need to work something else, maybe you need to change your approach. Now there can be hundreds of things that has to be seen from other planetary position, what planets 6th house have, what planets influence this particular house, 6th house lord, what is its placement, to which with which planets it is placed. All that has to be seen, and accordingly you have to make up your mind, make up your attitude, and you have to give up few things. In 6th house case, you can't get. You have to learn to give. You have to learn to give up things. Because directly in front of 6th house sits the 12th house, the house of donation, the house of loss, the house of release. So 12th house is ready to collect the energies of the 6th house. It's ready. But you should be ready to give up the negativity in your life. And for that, you need to understand that the astrology is not black and white, but different shades of gray, trying to make you understand. So you don't get scared if you hear that your 6th lord is causing a lot of trouble. You must ask why it is causing so much of trouble. And I'm ready to change. And maybe there is a remedy for that. Yes, you can, because ultimately you have to repay the loan. If you repay the loan, the entire balance sheets gets balanced and you're done. At least major amount you can repay. Now that repayment can be through various methods. It can be karmic, it can be dharmic, it can be through help, it can be through mantra. That an astrologer will identify after careful analysis of your horoscope, but you don't need to get scared. Don't get scared of the Trik Bhav. I will tell you that Trik Bhav are the fundamentals in astrology. Without Trik Bhava, the very core fabric on which astrology stands will go away. And because it is so secret, the energy is so massive, nobody likes it. Because nobody wants to face the elephant in a battlefield. You want things easy. 6th house makes things difficult. 6th house makes you do things repeatedly. 6th house brings obstacles. But why? Nobody focuses there. Everybody thinks I have a problem. Everybody wants a solution, but nobody wants to understand why the problem is there. And maybe there are reasons for that you may have to understand, that may be difficult to digest. But there are reasons. Nothing happens without reason. Emotionally, this house can be draining because obviously if something bad happens, it's not easy for us to accept those things. With time, Saturn helps to understand those things. Saturn helps to basically digest that facts. For some we are able to, for some we are not. And therefore, because of this push and pull of energy, push and pull of holding on to things and unable to register the fact that something bad has happened and how can that happen to us, creates diseases. Because it's your own body who falls into disease. And sometimes disease comes as an act of punishment. Sometimes disease comes as an act of a wake-up call. You never know why you are facing this sickness continuously, why your health is not up to the mark. Those things has to be understood from this particular house. So you cannot ignore the 6th house. It is one of the most fundamental property in the horoscope. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching Puneet's Astrology. This was a brief analysis on the 6th house. Hope you liked it. And if you like it, do not forget to share and subscribe and hit the bell icon. And do comment your suggestions in this video. The next video in this series will be the 8th house video. So this is your host Puneet. Namaste.